Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to have you guys here. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, is going to be me ranking the Harry Potter movies, which is extremely exciting. A few videos ago, I actually did a ranking of the books. So if you want to check that out, you can. I will leave it, I think it's on this side it pops up. If not this side, but I think it's on this side, okay? If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. I would really love that. And also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you know when I post videos. Let's get into the video because there are more movies than what there are books, so we need to get through those, okay? We don't want this to be a long video. I do want to say something really quick. It's exactly how it was with the books. I actually enjoy all these movies because I just love the Harry Potter world, and whether I'm watching it or reading it or listening to it with an audiobook, I just love it. I love it all. So least favorite to favorite, not that I don't like it, etc. Okay, let's just get that out there. All right, let's get started. Number 9 in this list is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. This was such a letdown for me. Not to say that I don't like the movie. Like I said, I love all the movies, but they left out key elements of the book in this movie. I don't want to compare the movies to the books too much. The book is so focused on Tom Riddle and his past, and that is my favorite thing about it. It is such a fantastic book. And yet the movie just focuses on romance and the teenage problems, and which is fine. It would make an entertaining movie if it wasn't Harry Potter, I think. Not to say that the scenes with Dumbledore at the end weren't fantastic, they really are, and when he dies it's like, it just drops this movie totally to number 9, and it just can't get up from there. It just can't. Number 8 on the list is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I did actually enjoy this movie, I really did, and I think overall, even as a standalone movie, I think it's actually really good. However, this is where the books come into play with me again, and even though I'm trying to keep it separate, it's hard. But because I didn't really have a connection with the characters, it was kind of hard for me to really love the film. Like for me, it was kind of like, oh, this is good. You know, I kind of need to let this build up to appreciate it more at this point. I'm really excited for Crimes of Grindelwald. The trailers look awesome, so I'm really excited about that. But like I was saying, I need to get to know him a little bit more before I rank this movie any higher. Number 7 is Chamber of Secrets. I personally love the way Christopher Columbus made the first 2 films. The way it's so bright and colourful. It just really suits the tone of the first 2 books, especially since the first 2, they're a little bit more kid-friendly, where the other ones started to get a little bit more adult, so it just suits it perfectly. However, the only thing that kind of bothers me about this film is that occasionally it's slow-paced, and I'm only saying that compared to the other movies. As a standalone movie, I actually really enjoy it. I think it's kind of creepy, it's scary, it's good, but just comparing it to the movies that I have left, it is a little bit more slow-paced. Number 6 is Deathly Hallows Part 1. The main reason why it's at number 6 on my list is because it basically just feels like a filler movie. I mean, like, I'm glad that they did a part 1 and part 2 for the last book because so much goes on in that book. But because this book isn't shown at Hogwarts at all, and a lot of it is just talking and trying to figure out things, it kind of just feels like a filler movie. You know how you're watching a show and there are some filler episodes that don't actually contribute to the plot as much? That's kind of how I feel like this movie is. Not to say, like, I'm gonna keep saying that so many times, not to say I didn't love it. I do like this movie. I actually like the kind of character building that you see in this, especially because Harry, Ron and Hermione, they're stuck in a tent together all the time with a Horcrux, which makes them cranky. I think that's all fantastic, and it was really good to see that. However, like I said, I just feel like this is a filler movie. Not much happens. I'm like, I know that Dobby dies, and that's like the most depressing thing I've ever seen. Number 5 is ThePhilosophers Stone. I love this movie, I really do. When I first saw this as a kid, it really opened my eyes. The fact that it just introduces you to the wizarding world, and it's bright and it's colourful and it actually feels real. It made you feel these feelings, and it was making you wait for your Hogwarts letter to come to the door. You know, it was just a fantastic approach to introducing such a vast world, such a huge world. And that's the main reason why it's actually quite higher on this list, because it's such a great introduction into this franchise. However, the acting though is so bad. I mean, like, I know they're young kids, so you can't really say much about that, but still the acting's pretty bad, so. Number 4 is The Goblet of Fire. This movie has its faults, it really does. And I'm going to compare to the books in this one. That's why it has its faults. It left out so much from the books. I mean, like, I know it's a thick book, but it left out such awesome awesome scenes and details and all that stuff, like the Quidditch World Cup. The whole thing between Barty Crouch Senior and Junior, like it only touched on that one really. That's one of my favorite character arcs in the whole books. But this movie makes up for it otherwise. The last hour of this movie is so fantastically made, and it terrifies you. The scene where Voldemort comes back terrifies you. Thrilling, it's action-packed, it's funny. It's a truly great film, and I actually can't fault it if you're separating it from the books. But mainly because of the books, that's why it's a little bit lower for me. But overall, still really love this film. Number 3 is Deathly Hallows Part 2. Oh, this film... Honestly, this film has one of my favorite sequences in movie history. The whole part when you're watching Snape's memories, I think is so beautifully well done. You can't fault that part. You actually can't. Never fails to bring tears to my eyes. Like David Yates, who was the director, I believe, of the last 4 of the Harry Potter movies, he did such a terrific job on this movie. He summarized the last half of this book so well, and I'm really impressed with that. The whole Battle of Hogwarts was just so beautiful to watch, even though it was so depressing. It really was. Even the shots that he did, and that whole sequence where Harry, Ron, and Hermione are running through Hogwarts, I think that is so terrifically well done. The whole thing is amazing. To say though, I haven't actually watched that movie nowhere near as much as I've watched the other ones. I've actually only watched it a few times. So that's probably why it's at number 3 for me. I do wish they included the relationship about Dumbledore and Aberforth in there a little bit more as to why Aberforth was so against him. They don't really go into that plot line as deep as they probably should have been. But besides that, it's still like a terrific movie, and it's fantastic. Number 2 is The Order of Phoenix. This is interesting because it is my, and I'm not going to spoil it because from my Harry Potter book videos, this is my least favorite book, yet it's my second favorite movie. One of the reasons why I hate and love this book is the exact same reason why I love this movie so much. Umbridge. She's fantastic. The casting is brilliant. I hate her. I really do. I don't hate anyone else ever. Hate is such a strong word, and I don't like to use it in my vocabulary, but Umbridge is just, oh my god. She's the devil in disguise, I swear. I just love that her script was so to the book, and that's what made her so real, because Rowling wrote her in such a real way. It actually feels like a real person in the magical world. And when you're watching her in person, like, it just shows that, yeah, there are probably people like that out there, because it just felt so real, and she was just one of the most perfect parts of this film. Another reason why I love this movie so much, they leave out majority of like the slow parts in the movie, which is great. It's the only time where leaving out details is a good time when it comes to these movies. They leave out what's slow in the book, all of the teenage angst and Harry being a little grumpy bum. Like, obviously they play on that in the film, but it's not overloaded. The whole last hour and the Department of Mysteries is so well done. Again, I actually kind of prefer the way Sirius died in this movie compared to the book. In the book, you can kind of miss it, I feel like, if you're not reading properly sometimes. And one of my favorite things in this film is actually not in the book, and that's when Sirius and Harry are fighting together and the Department of Mysteries, and then Sirius is like, "Nice one, James." Oh my god, that it gets me, and I just start bawling my eyes out from that. It would have been awesome if that was in the book. It's a nice touch. Good one on the filmmakers for that. Good one, yes. Yes, indeed. And as you've probably guessed it, number 1 is The Prisoner of Azkaban. This one's actually always been my favorite movie, and let me tell you why. It was the movie that made me actually go read the books. So I was around 8 at the time, and that's when I started reading these books. The whole part with finding out that Scabbers was Peter Pettigrew, like that always stuck to me. It was one of the biggest plot twists I've witnessed besides I Am Your Father. That's one of the reasons why I just loved it so much. But it's not only that. It changed the series from this point. It had such a darker feel, and I felt like because the books were progressing at this point, it was so good to see that the films were progressing as well. And I actually started to get that darker tones to suit what was coming up. Overall, I just love this movie, and the only thing that I can fault it with, because none of these movies are perfect, definitely not. The only thing that I can fault it with really is that they didn't need that little talking head in the night bus. The, hey, Ernie, like they didn't really need that guy. He didn't have to be there. And also, the fact that they don't do anything about the Marauders. And as I said in my book ranking video, I would love if they did something on the side about the Marauders in a movie or in a book or whatever. I would love to see that. But anyway, that's the only thing that I can fault about that movie. Besides that, it's fantastic. So there you have it. That is my ranking of the Harry Potter movies. I still love every one of them. Even the Half-Blood Prince, even though it pisses me off so much that they left so much out, because I would love to have watched that on screen. Everything about Voldemort's family and yada yada yada, but that doesn't matter. We're moving past it. It is what it is, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments your rankings of the films or even your book ranking as well. I would love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, guys.